my kids would do that. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Mesa City Council for Monday, November 4th, 2013. I am Mayor Scott Smith, and as always, it's an honor and a privilege for me to be able to conduct this meeting. And would like to, first of all, excuse Council Members Richens and Glover, who are out of town and won't be joining us. We'll begin tonight's meeting with an invocation by Doctor of Divinity Blaine Mays of the Community Church of New Thought, after which we'll be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Scout John David Langston from Troop 409. Please rise for the invocation and the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we pause for these few brief moments to honor and to acknowledge your presence, your spirit, your power. We give thanks that your infinite wisdom moves through all that is shared this evening, further empowering the council to reach out to bring to our city of Mesa, to its citizens, that which further blesses and enriches. Thank you, Father. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. We'll now have the welcome.
Welcome to the Mesa City Council meeting. Thank you for your interest in the City of Mesa. At this time, please turn off or select the vibrate option on all cell phones while the meeting is in progress. If you would like to speak on any items, please fill out the blue cards located in the back of the room and give it to the city clerk. We ask you to limit your comments to 3 minutes. You can also ask for an item to be removed from the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are read into the record and voted on in one motion. At the end of tonight's meeting, under items from citizens present, there will be an opportunity for 3 citizens to speak on any issue, with a maximum of 3 minutes each. The council cannot respond to your comments. When the mayor calls your name, please step up to the podium, state your name and address, and make your comments. The City of Mesa operates under a council district system with the mayor elected at large. The mayor of Mesa is Scott Smith, serving his second term. There are 6 districts in Mesa, and here are your elected council members. In District 1, Dave Richens represents Northwest Mesa. In District 2, Vice Mayor Alex Finter represents Central and South Central Mesa. In District 3, Dennis Kavanaugh represents Southwest Mesa and the area south of downtown. In District 4, Christopher Glover represents Downtown Mesa. In District 5, David Luna represents Northeast Mesa. And in District 6, Scott Summers represents Southeast Mesa. Information about your council member and the City of Mesa is available online at mesaaz.gov. All city council meetings are broadcast live and then rebroadcast on Mesa Channel 11 and on mesachannel11.com.
Thank you very much. We have some awards recognition announcements, but I got to begin with an announcement that is pretty big for the City of Mesa. And I'm sorry, the reason I was late is we were wrapping up a few details on that. And I actually, knowing this was coming, I wore what I call my victory tie. Yes, it is Westwood colors. Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor Westwood. I'm unabashedly a warrior. Today, it was, through a filing, was announced that Apple Computer is establishing a manufacturing facility here in Mesa, Arizona. And, yeah. We're very much excited about that for a few reasons. It was a great team effort with both the state, both the governor's office and the Arizona Commerce Authority, regional, the Maricopa County and Greater Phoenix Economic Council, or GPEC, and Salt River Project was very much involved, and of course our City of Mesa staff. And I'm really proud of our staff. But when you have these economic development deals, a lot of people ask, well, what's the incentive? What's the upfront payment? And they're sort of missing the mark, because actually that's a very, very minor. And by the way, the City of Mesa, we did things differently because we invested in the area, and that investment, which was made a while ago, was the one that created the opportunity. But at the end of the day, you have to deliver. You have to make whatever company is, in this case Apple, you have to make it so they can actually open whatever plant they is and make whatever they're going to make there and make it work. And that's where city staff comes in. And I will tell you, over the last few weeks, our city manager, Chris Brady, those in our engineering departments, our development service departments, spent hours and hours meeting with Apple and their representatives to figure out, and we were complimented by one Apple person who said that in all of his years with Apple, and he'd been there many years, and all of the things they'd done, they had never had a city respond as quickly and professionally as the way that Mesa did. And well, I'll tell you, when you're a mayor and when you're any one of us, you hear that, and it works out to be something good. That's something to be happy about. So congratulations to our city, to everyone. This is just a start, though. We're happy to have a company like Apple who chooses to invest in our city. We're hoping that we'll live up to the expectations. Apple has said they expect upwards of 700 jobs. These are high-quality jobs. That there will be almost 1,300 employed during construction. So this is a very, very massive project, and we're happy that Apple's chosen Mesa for this. And thank you. This is a big win for the state, for the region, and certainly for Mesa and our citizens. So thank you very much, and wish you congratulations. Councilmember Summers.
Can I add one more?
You may.
List of thank yous, and not only to Brady and Bill Jabjiniak, Economic Development, your staff, and everybody in planning who did the work, but I think we need to extend our great appreciation and debt of gratitude to the people of Mesa. This plant is being built, just happens to be being built in my district it's at Signal Butte and Elliott. Those of you familiar with it, you know there's a nice structure down there. They're going to be making a lot of tenant improvements to bring in these 700 jobs. It wasn't long ago, back 2006, where the intersection of Signal Butte and Elliott ended in what was just a dead-end T intersection, 2 lanes, 1 in each direction, no lights, no traffic signals, hardly any water. There were some residential homes down there.
And it didn't go both ways.
And it didn't go both ways. You can only go one way.
No which way to go.
Into the area. It's really over the last 2 years that the residents of Mesa, in looking at our economic development strategy, have supported the bond efforts that have built new roads, put in new infrastructure. We have water, we have sewer. We have public safety was put a new fire station across the street. SRP put in energy opportunities, and there's more to come in this area. There is an opportunity for another clean water facility, a water treatment plant that will take water and make it potable. And it's those kind of investments in your community that are necessary to attract these kind of jobs. So I want to thank you for your continued support and your faith in this council and city staff in supporting those efforts that help make this possible.
Thank you. Hey, one other interesting note about this is that Apple committed long ago to being very aggressive in moving to the use of renewable energy. This plant will use mass quantities of energy, and Apple is committed to and is working with plans with primarily Solar Project to make this 100% of the power will be generated by renewable sources, and that's a major investment on their part and other parts. So it makes it very, very unique, and is truly a plant for the 21st century. So we're very happy, and thank you for your comments. Because realistically, people kept asking me, what did the city of Mesa do? And I go, well, what we did a while ago. We set the plan for that area. We then got the support of the citizens, and we invested in that area in infrastructure that did not exist, and that really set the table that made this day possible. It was many years in the making, and we made an investment and we had a plan, made an investment consistent with that plan, and the investment today paid off, and we think this is the first of many more wins to come. Yeah, we're not finished, so thank you. Another win, you like that segue, Jim? Another win, and this actually is a great story. When this council first came on, many of our community events were literally on life support. And the financial challenges that the city had prior to the council taking office were significant, and the city was because of that removed direct financial support. We decided early on, and it was unanimous on the council, that these events were important, and that while at that time, because right as we took office, of course, we got hit with the Great Recession, we could not and did not want to give the same kind of direct support. We actually would support these things, but it had to be a true public-private partnership. We had a group who stepped up with the Veterans Day Parade, and the first year or two were a struggle because we had to react very quickly. We figured out ways to work together, but I will tell you this group stepped up in more than a big way, and every year this parade has grown. I remember the first year I walked in because we were candidates, remember? And I mean, there was a few people gathered between really first, there was a smattering of people north of First Street, a few more people as you got closer to Main Street, sort of a lot of people, and then it tailed off pretty quickly. Unfortunately, or fortunately, that did not last long. Last year, I remember, and the parade has kept the same route basically from Second Avenue or First Avenue down to about where the almost University. Last year, we were like 10 deep. We ran out of space. There were so many people there, tens of thousands of people. This would not have been possible without the work of the East Valley Veterans Parade Group, Jim Monroe, and your group, who took over the hard work of really making this happen. We like to believe that the city, we do participate. We have a lot of resources at our disposal that we make available, so we can be partners in this. But the real work comes from the veterans themselves, and the veterans groups who continue to participate in ever increasing numbers. Now this year we're so excited for a couple of reasons, because first of all, we're moving to Saturday, which we believe will enable many more people. The unfortunate thing is a lot of companies aren't closed on Veterans Day. Schools are, government offices are, but there's many companies that don't close on the 11th. And so the decision was made to move it to the Saturday, like we've done with the Celebration of Freedom, and it's been so successful, so we can open up this opportunity to even more people and more groups. And the other thing is, taking into consideration the fact that we simply ran out of room last year, the Veterans Day is it sounds like you're almost, not quite doubling, but pretty close to doubling the length of the parade. A little over double. Okay, so it's moving from just a downtown-centric parade to actually starting almost by Fitch Park and moving clear up to Second Avenue. We'd like now to introduce Mr. Jim Monroe, who has led this effort and has been the leader of the group in this. It truly is a group, and he can give you some more details about the success of the parade and what you have planned for this year.
Thank you, Mayor Smith, Councilman. You've covered almost everything I had to say.
Oh, you know, that is probably the first time I've ever been guilty of that.
Yeah, right.
Oops, sorry.
Well, I'm going to hit on a few high points, if I may, even though you may have already touched on them.
It's much better for me to brag about you because I want to brag about your group as opposed to you bragging about yourself. So there.
That's most beneficial.
Okay. I'm just going to be quiet now.
As you said, the Military Veterans Parade Association was formed in 2006, and it's a nonprofit group staffed entirely by volunteers. Our sole purpose, our charter, if you will, is to produce an annual parade that recognizes our military veterans, our active military personnel, and their families, and honors them for their dedication and service to our community, to our nation, and other nations. I think our event, the East Valley Veteran Parade, offers an excellent venue for all of us to demonstrate our support for our military services. The name East Valley Veterans Parade is a little bit new. We produced it 2 years ago, and it was in recognition of the fact that not only is Mesa involved in this event now, we have other communities in other towns beginning to be involved with us. Gilbert, for instance, joined us in 2011, and this year, for the first time, we actually have a Gilbert band in our parade. And we've been trying to get that to happen for a while. So it's little steps, but we are indeed growing. This year you'll see a great number of military vehicles, considerably more than we have in the past. We have the USS Arizona replica in the parade for the first time. The Arizona Fallen Soldier Memorial banners has been somewhat of a trademark in our parade. They will be there again this year, carried by reserve officer training candidates and a few family members or good friends of the fallen. So if you see somebody carrying one of these that isn't in a military uniform, you know he's there because he asked. As you say, the event is on Saturday, November the 4th, this coming Saturday. We chose that, as Mayor Smith said, because we had so many people who could not come and participate, either as spectators or as active participants. So we're looking for a considerably larger crowd this year. We're projecting some 30,000 people on the street midday Saturday, and I think that's a conservative number. As you mentioned, the parade has been more than doubled. We start at 8th Street and Center Street intersections, travel all the way south to First Avenue. It's been a little bit of a gamble for us to do this. I still wake up at night thinking about the people that are going to show up in Mesa on Monday looking for a parade, and I know it's going to happen.
Well, they might, unfortunately, you said Saturday the 11th. So,
oh, I'm sorry. See, I told you they'll show up at the wrong date.
Yeah.
Saturday the 4th, I'm sorry.
9th.
Saturday 9th.
This Saturday,
you should have done this.
Oh, it's 11 a.m. That's why it's
right.
Okay, 11 a.m.
Today's the 4th.
Yeah.
So don't show up at the 11th at 9 a.m. Show on the 9th at 11 a.m. We'll get it straight.
Let me see if I can get back on track.
Okay.
We will do a press release.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've chaired the parade for the last 4 years, and I'm not chairing it this year, and as I demonstrated just now why. I would like to recognize Sid Hagel. Sid, would you just stand up just briefly? Sid is taking over as chairman this year. He's doing a grand job. I'm trying to help him when I can, but I think you'll find he's far superior to me, and I really appreciate you taking my job. The last thing I'd touch on very briefly is on Saturday, November the 16th. That's the right date. We're having an awards luncheon. It's at the Oregon Stop Pizza, very family-oriented event. With your permission, I'll leave flyers for the parade and the luncheon so anyone can pick them up if they like. Our real purpose of being here today is to recognize our service representatives. And if we can, gentlemen, if you would join me down here. Mayor, would you join me too? How about here? Right. Yes. Each year we have a representative from every branch of the service who serves as our official representative for that branch. So there's someone from the Air Force, the Navy, the Army, the Marines, the Coast Guard. And we also have a Grand Marshal. Here tonight before you are the representatives. The Grand Marshal is a gentleman named Colonel Joey Strickland. Many of you may have heard of him. He's out of town today. He'll be back tomorrow noon. I tried to get the meeting moved. Weren't receptive to doing that. So, if I may, I'd like to recognize each of these gentlemen individually, and we have a small appreciation plaque that we'd like to present. This gentleman here, you'd like to, is Major General Carl Snyder. He is our Air Force rep, and to be honest with you, when I approached him, I didn't have any thought that I could actually get him to join us, but he is. So, General?
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Very nice.
Hey, Jim, why don't we have him move over there so people at home can hear you introduce him?
Okay, why don't we do that? Help me.
Oh,
Steve.
better.
It probably only works for you. Representing the Army is Colonel Gene Raffinelli. Colonel?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Representing the Marines, Lieutenant Colonel David Altoff. I didn't think I would get you either. This gentleman here, he's a gunner's mate. He's in World War II. He served in UDT teams. That was like the predecessor to the SEALs. And I've had a nice time talking to you on the phone, and my wife said she spent a couple of hours with you on the phone the day before yesterday. What'd you talk about? Gunner's mate Milton Schiff. Thank you, sir. It's hard to find a Coast Guard guy in Arizona. Took us a while, but we finally found a gentleman. This Chief Electronic Technician, Kevin Cantrell. You're out of the office in Phoenix, right? Scottsdale. And I got to tell you, we spent about 3 weeks finding you guys. 4, 5. And we're glad to have you here. And he was nice enough to bring a warrant officer with him, and nobody's seen one of you guys in years. So, if you will, I suggest you maybe turn around and let these people see you. Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Turn around here.
We'll get a shot at it.
I need all of you facing
Yeah,
me.
tell us how you want it.
And then you're going to show your plaques, and we're going to get Mayor here.
Okay.
I'll get him
Get
on
Mayor
this side.
Smith in the
All
middle,
right.
or on the side here.
There you go. I get it.
Get that Coast Guard gun up here in front
You
there.
want me in here too?
Oh, there we go.
Show your plaques.
Coast Guard's got your back.
I got your back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you get one there, Monroe? Okay, good. Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Councilman, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Jim and gentlemen. And if you never have had the opportunity to go to the East Valley Veterans Day Parade, it's quite a special event. It's unique in what it has, and once again, I'll just tell you, if you've never been there and haven't seen the standards come down, which commemorate all those Arizonans who've given their lives, it's quite a moving experience. So I invite everyone out Saturday the 9th at 11 a.m. in downtown Mesa. The next, we also have a pretty special department, and you know, Chief, I would like to say we're getting tired of having you guys up here, because you seem to be up here about every other meeting, but you know, we're actually not tired of having you here. We've mentioned this before. When we took office, we tried to define how we could measure success. There's a lot of different measures. The standard ones in fire departments are how quickly we respond, how efficient we are in handling emergencies. But one of the ones that we decided to do is we've sort of figured that if others outside of the city commented on how well we were doing, that was a pretty good measure that we might be doing some things right. And I will tell you that over the last few years, our fire and now fire and medical department has excelled in getting commemorated from a variety of areas, but none quite as unique as this. So, Chief, why don't you explain to us exactly this very unique award? And I watched one of them for the first time the other day, and I can understand why you were recognized. So explain to us what you have to talk to us about today.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and members of the council. Thanks very much for allowing us to come forward again. You're right. It's a very special time for us to come here, and we've been able to celebrate a lot of firsts, but none of it without your support and the backing that we've had for many years now. So thank you. And oh, by the way, home run on Apple.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. It's correct. Mesa Fire and Medical Department was recently awarded an Emmy for a broadcast that we put together for our drowning and prevention awareness program. It's an amazing accomplishment for us. It was for a program we put together called I Remember. And this is the first Emmy that any fire department across the nation's ever received, so we feel pretty special about that as well. The video that we put together focuses on two mothers who lost their sons due to drowning, two local mothers. And hopefully you've had a chance to see the video, but it is rather amazing. And if I could, we really owe a huge debt of gratitude to the two mothers, Allison James and Stephanie Burkett. Allison and Stephanie, if you guys could stand up. These ladies are so amazing. They came to us, obviously, with a very, very compelling story that we felt that needed to be shared. And they put their lives, again, on hold, and they put their past out in front of the public for review. And I know that was a sacrifice, but you guys have really done something special for your children, because now they're heroes to many, many others for the fact that you brought their story to the surface for people to hear. So thank you so very much for that. They turned tragedy into success, and it's one of the most amazing things that you can do as a human, I think. So congratulations. We'll be very thankful to these ladies forever. The two primary recipients, were Laura McElhatton, who has injured her back this morning, so wasn't able to make it here tonight. But Laura, we know that you're out there, and thank you for all the work that you did. And Don Jones. Don, if you'll stand. Mark, I'm so sorry, Mark. Mark Jones is, there it is. Come on. If you haven't seen one of these awards, this is the real deal.
You know, other than the one that's on my mantle, I haven't seen any of these.
You see them on
Wow.
You see them on covers of magazines and things.
Yeah,
But
that
this
is cool.
This is the real thing. And so Mark is our videographer, and I have to tell you, we've given him a new name. Actually, he earned it several years ago, but we call him Cecil B. DeMarc because Mark is the guy that has the vision that can really brings in pieces together. And if you saw the video, it's pretty seamless as you watch it because it is so professional. But if you really understand videography, you can really see the special techniques that Mark brings to the table. And he's done that for our videos, our training videos, for a long time. So
I kept trying to adjust my color, though, Mark, and you just didn't get there. It's in black and white, so which is.
Harry, you just lost him to the council PIO office.
Yeah, they are a very, very special team, and it's kind of cool to watch the two of them work together. As many of you have met Laura before, she's a special personality in and of herself. Mark is the disciplinarian, he's the perfectionist, and she's kind of the energy and makes things crazy. And it's amazing because them working with us is a kind of a dangerous combination. But it turned out to be a huge success. Mayor, thanks for the time. I appreciate the recognition.
Well, thank you. And thanks for bringing in the hardware. That really is good.
And the key is that this really pays off in terms of improved education and safety in our community. This drowning is a curse that we as adults and who supervise children really have to take more seriously. And about anything we can do to raise that level of awareness, we're going to do. So, again, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Yeah, congratulations. And Stephanie and Allison, I got to tell you, when I was watching these, I was really blown away by how brave you were to come up front. I know that couldn't have been easy, and I have no idea what you went through. But you know, for you, like as the chief said, to really put your heart out there and tell your story. Believe me, it will have an impact. It will. It was incredible, and just the feeling I got watching it, you know, it was totally different than any other experience. Which I'm sure why those who present the Emmy thought it was so important, and even you guys were the stars simply because you showed the courage to come forward and to share your pain, so that others wouldn't have to. And thank you very much for doing that. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, you know, after all this, I think we ought to just call it a night and go home. But we got we got business to take care of. We'll now move on and take care of the consent agenda, and the consent agenda will be read into the record by Kevin Christopher. Kevin.
Good evening. All citizens are permitted and encouraged to speak on agenda items. If you're interested in speaking, please fill out a blue card in the back of the room and give it to the city clerk. When the council considers the item, you will be called to the podium to provide your comments. Mayor and council members, these are the items on the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk will be considered as a group by the city council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion unless a council member or a citizen requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. If a citizen wants an item removed, a blue card must be completed and given to the city clerk prior to the council's vote on the consent agenda. Item 2, approval of minutes of previous meetings as written. Item 3A, act on liquor license application for a Humanitarian Activist Alliance one-day charitable event Saturday, November 23rd, 263 North Center Street. Item 3B, act on liquor license application for Queen of Peace Catholic Church one-day religious event Sunday, November 17th, 141 North McDonald. Item 3C, act on liquor license application for Albertsons, 1951 West Baseline Road. Item 3D, act on liquor license application for Albertsons, 2727 North Power Road. Item 4A, act on 3-year term contract for landscape maintenance services for parks and retention basins, Zone 3, for the Parks, Recreation, and Commercial Facilities Department. Item 4B, act on contract for utilities building fire alarm upgrade, 640 North Mesa Drive. Funding is available in the 2006 wastewater bond funds and 2010 electric, gas, and water bond funds. Item 4C, act on 2-year term contract for bulk methanol for wastewater treatment for the Water Resources Department. Item 4D, act on 3-year term contract for aftermarket parts for automotive and light-duty trucks for the Fleet Services Department. Item 4E, act on 9-month renewal of term contract for automatic transmission repairs and services for the Fleet Services and Fire and Medical Services Departments. Item 4F, act on contract to purchase 11 vehicles for the Water Resources and Development and Sustainability Departments. 10 are replacements, 1 is additional. 8 vehicles for Water Resources are funded by the Utility Replacement Extension Renewal Fund. 3 vehicles for development and sustainability are funded by the Vehicle Replacement Fund. Item 4G, act on dollar limit increase to the term contract for helicopter airframe parts and repairs as requested by the Police Department. Item 4H, act on dollar limit increase and extension of the lease agreement for gas chromatograph mass spectrometers for the Police Department. Item 4I, act on contract to purchase 7 replacement sedans for the Police Department. This purchase is funded by the Vehicle Replacement Fund. Item 4J, act on contract to purchase computer-aided dispatch-based data resource allocation and deployment software for the Police Department. This purchase is funded by Asset Forfeiture RICO funds. Item 4K, act on 1-year renewal of the term contract for crack seal material and application services for the Transportation Department. Item 4L, act on dollar limit increase to the term contract for solid waste disposal and or transfer for the Solid Waste Management Department. Item 4M, act on contract to rehabilitate residential property acquired under federal entitlement grants at 713 North Date. This project is fully funded by the Federal Neighborhood Stabilization Program grant provided by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Item 4N, act on contract to rehabilitate residential property acquired under federal entitlement grants for 1649 North Dresden. This project, fully funded by the Federal Neighborhood Stabilization Program grant provided by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Item 4O, act on contract to purchase property, liability, cyber risk, workers' compensation insurance, and workers' compensation surety bond. Item 5A, act on resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the Maricopa County Human Services Department, establishing a Maricopa Workforce Connections Youth Center at the main library. Item 6A, introduction of ordinance regarding Z13-050, 3831 and 3841 East Main Street, located east of Val Vista Drive on the south side of Main Street, rezone and site plan review to allow for expansion of an existing general commercial use. Item 6B, introduction of ordinance regarding Z13-051, the 8900 block of East Upper Canyon Drive, located north of McKellips Road on the west side of Ellsworth Road, rezone and site plan review to allow a single residence subdivision in Parcel 2 of the Mountain Bridge Master Plan. Item 6C, introduction of ordinance regarding Z13-052, 6560 South Mountain Road, located north of Pecos on the west side of Mountain Road, rezone and site plan review to allow the expansion of an existing industrial facility. Mayor and council members, these are the items on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there any item a member of the council would like to remove from the consent agenda? Ms. Mickelson, any requests from the public to remove?
No
that?
request, Mayor.
Okay, is there any discussion? For the record, we have Mr. Ron Lorenzo, who has submitted a card in support of items 3C and 3D. Okay, there's no questions or comments? Please, we have a motion from Councilmember Kavanaugh, a second from Councilmember Summers. It doesn't look like the automatic is working, so any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries with Councilmembers Richens and Glover not present. Unless Councilmember wants to say something, or there's any more agenda that we can take that isn't on the agenda? There's nothing? Good. We have a motion adjourned from Councilmember Luna. Second from the Vice Mayor. All in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.